Looks like we're live.
Yep, there it is. Car's up.
Window is now closed.
To let me know when you're ready to start spouting again.
I think that we're live already, so we can just go in.
Okie dokie. Right, fastest lap of the race now going to Dan Minton, and that was with a 1:58.8. So that may actually be just the second stint, possibly. But 1:58.8 is currently showing as the fastest lap overall. So real good effort. That's the 888 BMW, but Borovesh is holding on to first position. He is still way out in front. 7.5 seconds out in front, actually. He has completed his pit stop along with everybody else. Again, apologies for the downtime. Double checking this. That's all looking fine at the end. So let's have a look and see if there's any battles. Looking like... Oh, actually, Kristinic has moved up into 4th place overall. So he is now our leading AM driver in the new BMW. So in qualifying, Concoli was looking like he was going to dominate the AM class. But there we go. Kristinic has come through and taken away 4th position. Quite a decent lead on him as well. He's got a car between him. He's got Isic between them as well. Car number 96, the Porsche. So he's done a real good effort to pull away like that. Have we got any other really close battles going on? We've got there looking like Bellato and Winkler. So that's the battle for 12th place, or it might actually be for 11th position. I apologise. Fairly close between number 36 and 14. Fairly close between number 36 and 36 and 14. Everyone that had penalties has now served them, as far as I can tell. Battles. Oh, actually, down in 23rd is looking like it's pretty close. So that is Dakuza in the. Yeah, he is in the Nissan GTR, and he was much further up the field earlier on. So something's obviously happened there. Apologies if you missed that. And he is now battling with the old Jaguar. So this is two older cars, so not entirely up to date with the OP, but certainly the Nissan GTR is a lot younger than that Jag, but Old Timer is certainly putting up a decent fight. So it may be the battle for 23rd position, but it's still a battle nonetheless. The battle has heated up significantly. Yes, it has. There was a back marker in the way, and that's allowed the two to close right up. So car 36 and 14. So that is Langendijk and Bellato right up behind each other now, all over the back of him. Interesting to see if we can see a move. Obviously that back marker giving him the opportunity to close up the gap. The outside, can he get the undercut here? Possibly going for a switchback. Might see. He's going to go the outside for the final turn. Is he going to go a second switchback? Not quite able to. He's closed off just in front of him, but he is still right on the back of him. He pretty much small catch up looking at the inside of the turn 1. Can he do it? Yes! Has to back out slightly. He was given room but decided to go gentle. Oh, and Kenneth fans will be devastated. Drive-through penalty for Kenneth. So they'll be upset with that. There's a lot of love in the chat for car 69 of Kenny Kenneth. He'll be disappointed. So he's down at 20th at the moment, and that is going to see him tumbling down the order as well. He'll lose a fair few places. It's quite a decent-sized pit lane here at Silverstone. So you lose your run into Maggots and Beckett's immediately. It's a hard place to rejoin. You've got cars absolutely flat out coming out of turn 1, especially if they're battling. There's not going to be a lot of room, and he's going to have to give way if he's coming out of the pit to traffic. And he's gone into the pit immediately to take that. Sticking on board though, Mato versus Van Dijk. It's still 11th place, and it is looking like he is able to pull away slightly in the Lexus. Now he's passed. Holly, and looks like he's still about ahead. Brooker looks like he's having a little bit of a scrap. Yes, Brooker still right at the back. Actually looks like he's got a really good run there on the back of Zach. This is on the final straight. Trying to do the same, go for a switch. Going really defensive. Zach not letting anything through there at all. Power down. Front end grip through turn 1. Looks like in a decent position into Maggots and Beckett. It's going to be interesting to see how he holds on through here. BMW just looks a little bit more stable. He's going to run the curb. But the exit speed actually of that Porsche very good. Looks up the outside, not able to make a move. Under attack in car 806 very soon. Gutierrez. Really stable race car. Popular, especially last year, very popular. But, oh, here we go. Here's the move going up the outside, going up the back straight. Can he make a move? It's that long right-hander. He's going to be on the outside. Touches. He's just managing to keep overlapping. No, not quite able to. And now he's under attack. Yeah, the Assetto trying to go around the outside. Having to fight and defend all over the place at the moment. Really had to sacrifice his line there to at least hold on to his position. Nearly dropped to 9th at that point. He can be very defensive, and he has dropped right back. Zach's managed to pull away and get a bit of clean air. It's interesting to see how Persis gets on. Continue to push forward. Ooh, big close up again. It's a really aggressive line from Brooker. Really, so not really using the hot lap line. He's sort of trying to get in underneath and unsettle that BMW. So less than a lap since he made that slight mistake and had to go defensive. And he's already on the back of that BMW, and Zach must be feeling the pressure. So yeah, any gap between these guys seems to tumble down immediately as soon as he gets away. Again, slightly more aggressive line, running a little bit less curve. Settled. Are we going to see anything into turn 1? I don't think so. Obviously, we saw something at the end of the straight last time. He's in a similar position, similar distance. He's got pressure to drop back ever so slightly, so he's got less pressure behind him to go full attack this lap. Does there, can he close up here on the back straight at the moment? See how good his run is off the corner. Is he able to catch? Is he able to close up? Let's see if he's actually closing. He is in the slip. He is ever so slightly closing coming into the turn. Does he go inside or outside this time? Just tries to follow him through. Holds on the back of the BMW. Can he do something here? Yes, he looks at the inside of the chicane. He's there. He's at the apex. Very close. The BMW gave him room, but not a great amount. It was very, very close. I imagine Brooker will be gritting his teeth. He is desperate to get past now. And Zach is currently coping with the pressure really well. Defending cleanly, staying his lines. Again, now Brooker having to go defensive. Those fast line turns really seem to be where this Porsche is weaker compared to the 806 Aston Martin of Virtues. Opening up again. He said the Audi sounds really good. That wailing car. Obviously, pretty much the exact same engine that's in the Lamborghini, but none of them on circuit this evening. So it's the one lone Audi screaming its way round. Pretty much the exact same engine that's in the Lamborghini, but none of them on circuit this evening. So it's the one lone Audi screaming its way round. Traction control is the word up. Very intrusive traction control, so even when you turn it right down, if you can slide traction control is the word up, that takes quite a bit of sort that out. So even when you turn it right down, get a slight slide, all you want to do is turn into it and hold it, and suddenly the car's sort of really fighting against you. But here we go through the chicane, Audi looking really strong. But again, that the rear engine, rear wheel drive Porsche is able to get the drive out the corners and just seems to be able to get on the power a little bit sooner. And Collie is still stuck at about half a second. I feel remiss to have a quick look at our pole man. So car number 22 is Borovec. 12 seconds out in front at this point. So a massive effort by him. He's coming up behind a couple of back markers. But 12-second lead. That is a dominant force out there on the circuit tonight. Be interesting to see if he can continue to do that as we go to different race meetings. Obviously Snetterton, I believe, is next week, so it'll be an interesting one to see if he can hold it up there. Quite a different circuit, and nice to see Snetterton on the race list this season, as it's quite often it's put off. A lot of people don't like driving it, sort of we'll say not a fan favourite by any means, which is a shame because it is an absolutely fantastic track and it does deserve a lot more love in my opinion. So our pole man Minton looks like actually our man in second place Minton is under attack from Stazak. 0.2 of a second between them, so definitely within grasping distance. I say with about 12.5 minutes left of the race, there is certainly an ability to get past him before the end. I say, if you've stuck with us this evening, thank you ever so much. Obviously, know there's been a couple of technical issues. I say a couple, there's been some major technical issues. So I say, do thank you ever so much for sticking with us. Obviously, it's been split into 2 separate streams now. My one earlier, and obviously this one later in the day. Oh no! And Stazak picks up a drive-through penalty. Oh, I'm going to say that was probably for, presumably for track limits. I may be able to, might be able to find out otherwise, but I imagine it's going to be for track limits. He was pushing pretty hard to catch and hold onto the back of Minton. It's a real shame. Yeah, he's going to pit and he's going to lose, I would presume, quite a few positions. He will not be happy about that, but someone that will be very happy about that is our 4th place runner, Igor Kristinic. He will be on the podium and he will be our leading amateur driver as well. He'll be really pleased to see that drive-through penalty come through. Maybe not how he would ideally like to take a place, but at some point you just have to take any positions you can take. Just pulling up the list so we can have a good old run through. And there we go, Stazak into the pit straight away. Oh, who's that going off? That was the BMW, that's the two-faced BMW. I should know that one. I've forgotten who it was. Who was that? Which BMW was that? Which BMW was that one? It's not Minton. No, it was not. It was... Let's have a jump back through and try and work that one out. Who went off? It's a car running out of order. Okay, that would make sense. That's why I couldn't see it on the timing screen in that position. It's someone that's running slightly out of order. Oh, car number 998 with a 15-second penalty as well. Who is that? That's done in 23rd position. He's picked up a penalty. Oh, a couple of penalties actually further back here as well. So, car number 998, which is the Mercedes of Jelvic. He is currently running in 23rd position. He has now, well, he hasn't completed his 15-second penalty, and further down the grid as well is Schnunrich with a 10-second penalty. He is in 30th place, car number 12, one of the McLarens. Really interesting to see actually here that there aren't a whole load of McLarens right at the front of the grid. Quite common sight nowadays. Just see a whole bunch of them at the beginning of the grid. Our pole man making his way through some back markers. No real threat at this point. So who have we got? Concoli is still seemingly battling away. Still trying to catch up with the back of our fourth place man. Kind of a 96, the Porsche. Message. Oh, and a mistake. Goes very wide on turn one. He turned in, the front end just didn't grip how he expected to, and off he went. You know, he looked like he backed right off the throttle as well, obviously trying to avoid any track warnings. Fair enough. Last thing you want at this point, with just over 8.5 minutes left of the race, is a drive-through or any kind of penalty. And so he'll be very happy with his 5th position, 2nd place in the AM class as well. So putting in a really nice effort. Let's have a little look at... Let's have a look at car 89, Zach, who seems to be having a little bit of a squabble. So this is 2 Pro Class drivers, and this looks like the battle for 10th. And actually, yeah, this is the battle we saw earlier on. Oh, Brooker, who we saw push forward earlier on in the Porsche, car number 130, picked up a 5-second penalty. So a lot of his hard work to push through this pack possibly come undone. He may have been pushing a little bit too hard. Obviously, at some point, he's picked up that 5-second penalty, and I am going to presume it would be an incident or a warning. A little look there from Langdijk. Number 36, still pushing hard. Got to be said, these new BMWs really do look good. Some great in-game liveries as well available for these cars. Some really nice patterns you can go with. Who's going to get the better run? Looks like Zach does get a slightly better run. So both these drivers presumably going to end up inside the top 10. Obviously once Brooke has taken his 5 seconds. In fact, looking at the timing board, he might end up dropping back quite a long way, Brooker. You will not be happy about that 5-second penalty, but so we saw him having good old squabbles earlier on, so something must have happened at some point. Coming across the start-finish. So what sort of times are these guys putting in? So very, very similar times actually, but to be fair, Langdijk is slightly quicker. 0.3 on that last lap. So he's closed up the gap. But our 3rd place AM driver is closing up on the back of these guys as well, actually. He did a slightly slower lap than Langdijk, but he is still quicker than Zach on that last lap. So starting to close up on him. And it won't be long, I imagine, until Langdijk has to go defensive. And that will be exactly what Zach wants. He wants to be able to pull away. He wants a bit of clean air and a bit of a breather. Really start putting in some laps. Oh, bit of a battle going on, it would look like, for 7th position. Or has the move happened? It may have already happened. Looking at it, there's a Porsche in front and a Porsche behind. Who have we got? It was 0.1 between these guys at one point. Obviously, Brooker, the currently running in 8th place, as we said, 5-second penalty, but he's still on the charge, still really sticking his nose up the inside. Not able to make a move there. The Aston managing to get his toe down and keep pushing forward. But he might end up losing a position here, down into the penultimate turn. Porsche looks up the inside, showing intent. No, not quite. Oh, almost looked like he outbraked himself slightly there. Did Brooker. It'll be interesting to see when Brooker decides to come into the pits. Is he going to hang on to the inside line and dip in now, or is he going to take that 5 seconds all the way to the end? It does the pit this time, so possibly going to take those 5 seconds all the way to the end. Under 5 minutes left of the race now. So if anyone's got anything left in the proverbial tank, they will be letting it out. They will be absolutely going for it. These guys squabbling ever so slightly. Who did we see a bit further down? It looked like Tadic was having quite a decent battle at one point, but it looks like gaps opened up on the timing board. Could be said, Borovac 13.354 seconds ahead now, so this really has been his race. So unless he gets a drive-through or some sort of penalty towards the end, but I imagine with 13 seconds to spare, he could probably drive quite safe and quite clean the entire rest of the race without losing too much time. Obviously, Minton will be hoping for a mistake from him, but it's not looking like Minton's going to be able to catch up with him just on pace alone. So I could look at their times. Yeah, last lap, Borovac still in the 58s, the high 58s, and Minton in the low to mid 159s. So, I mean, still relatively close, but over the space of an hour, that really does show how much of a lead you can pull away if you just keep pushing at it. Looking like Concoli is trying to get the Audi back in the fight again. About half a second between them. He was quicker last lap by a significant margin, actually, by about 3/4 of a second quicker than Micic's. Sorry, completely had a tongue tie then. Micic, that's the word. I couldn't get out. So 0.3 now. He's really taken a push. He's obviously realised about just under 3 minutes left of the race, and he is now really pushing for it. He wants 4th place. Brooker still down in 8th with his penalty. How's it going to go? Can Concoli close up the gap? Just looks like that Porsche just seems to be just slightly more settled, which is a very weird thing to say, that the Porsche seems more settled than the Audi. It's quite a rarity. Oh, a brake board goes flying in the distance there, just as it's coming into shot. So someone obviously decided they didn't like that brake board anymore. Just over 2 minutes left of the race. Trying to see if there's any final battles going on. Everyone reasonably settled in their places. What's going on a bit further back? Let's see if I can spot anything. Oh, I've just noticed actually, someone has not completed their mandatory stop. Who is that? That is Aidan Doyle in number 85 BMW. Supposedly has not completed the mandatory stop. So obviously something went wrong with his strategy at some point, whether or not he tried to pit outside the official window, I'm not entirely sure, but something didn't go right. And also down in 31st position.
Leaders on final lap.
And that is the number 7 Mercedes of... That is... Jelvic. And yeah, he also hasn't completed his mandatory stop. So, that's going to be a real kicker. I mean, I would imagine for these two guys, it must have been just a technical error on their part, I presume. Maybe they just didn't change the tyres. I'm not entirely sure, but you think they would. You know, if you got the opportunity to go into the pit and you have to pit, you might as well pop some tyres on and see what you can do. Either way, it's both the guys are slightly further on the... Oh, and a mistake. Stake McCarr, number 7 there. Gone wide on, that was the entrance to Maggots, I think. Went over the corner. Just didn't get the turn in. He's really weaving though. So I'm not sure what's going on there, whether he's having tyre issues. Ooh, 29 seconds left of this race. And are we going to, this could possibly be the final lap, depending on Borovic's pace. I think this is going to be the final lap, though. I will stick on board with him now. Still pulling away, though. Opened his gap up to 14.5 seconds over Minton. So, a real stellar performance from Filip Borovic this evening. Absolutely outstanding effort from him. So, coming down now into the final complex of corners. We'll watch him across the line. Here we go, nice and clean, taking it steady. To be fair, doesn't look like he's dropped the pace off too much. 0.4 down on his lap, just keeping it clean. But everyone's a little bit down on their lap times this time round. So here he comes, across the line. Massive congratulations for Filip Borovic for bringing home the win in the first of this winter series. Absolutely fantastic effort. And on board with Dan Minton now as he comes across to take the second place on the podium. Looked like a flash of the lights. Brilliant effort from him. Ooh, car pretty much stopped on the circuit in front of him. And there we go, our third place man, and also third place overall, and leading AM driver. Really good effort from Kristinic. Would not be surprised if he possibly ends up, if he keeps up this kind of performance, if he gets put into pro with that kind of speed. That is an amazing effort that he's put in there. So that was our top 3. And then we had, who is that? We had Micic, who was 90, car number 96 was our third man in the pro class across the line. And who have we got here? We've got, who is this? We've got Jokic. The car number 74 was our second AM driver, and Winkler in the number 82 BMW is our third AM driver across the line. Just having a look at where did Ken Colley end up coming after his penalty, or where is he showing? He's showing as 5th on my board, but obviously after the penalties he is somewhere else. Actually, I cannot select Ken Colley, so has he possibly already left the server, because I cannot see him on my timing screen. So he possibly has already left. So I'm not even actually sure if he completely finished the race or not. So massive congratulations to all the drivers that managed to make it across the line. Really good effort. I think there's still a few guys. Dunster still coming along. I don't think he's quite finished yet. Cars everywhere, spinning around in celebration. So if you haven't finished, it's going to be quite a difficult one to actually get to the line at this point, because there are cars everywhere. Yeah. Oh, Ken Colley down in 28th. It's coming up on my timing screen now. Well, the in-game timing screen. Hasn't said he's taken the checkered flag, so not sure what's gone on there. We will have to have a little look into that, what has happened there. We go to timetable, we'll be able to see how people cross the line. Where did he finish? Ken Colley. 28th, but it's not saying he saw the checker, so not sure what happened there. But fantastic effort from our guys. Oh, I've just seen the message from Yanks, so apologies. That one hadn't popped up till now. So let's have a run through the grid. Yes, we would normally do interviews. And that will be down the bottom. It should be. If anyone's ready for an interview yet. Doesn't look like they are quite yet. I imagine they may still be celebrating and finishing, but we'll hang on here and see if anyone wants to jump in with us. Obviously, trying to see if anyone would be interested. The guys a little bit of a chance. Obviously, they would have just finished. A little bit of a celebration. You can still hear cars driving around at the moment, so... So, looking at qualifying results, obviously, like we said, Borovic really dominant in qualifying and managed to take that all the way through to the race as well. Then we had Doyle in second place in qualifying. Things did not go his way, and he ended up in 27th position. So, sadly, wasn't able to replicate his qualifying performance. And then it was third place. That was Miksic. So he was third place on qualifying. Ended up in fourth place. So that is not bad at all. That's a really good effort. Only lost one position overall, and over the space of an hour. Great effort as far as I'm concerned. Trying to just see, where did Kristinic, how did he qualify? Wow, massive effort. He actually qualified down in 11th position, so that's a massive climb to get himself up to third place overall and onto the podium. Really good effort. I say, going to be coming away with a decent old points haul for that effort this evening. Concoli, obviously, who qualified well. Where did he qualify? He qualified in fourth. Obviously, we saw he had that penalty towards the end of the race, and has now, according to the timing board, ended up in 28th position. But again, it is showing that he never saw the checkered flag. So whether or not that's to be debated, I'm not sure. And looking like everyone's a little bit shy at the minute and not quite so keen to jump into the interviews. I mean, it's totally fair enough. Quite understandable, especially if depending on people's first and second languages. Quite understandable they may not be quite so keen to jump in. But I mean, that's that from the M4 of Kristinic. No, car number 3. He had 7 pro drivers beneath him before his next AM driver of Jokic. I mean, that's a massive effort, a humongous effort put in by him. And then there's a whole bulk of BMWs rounding out the top 15. All of those AM drivers all bunched up. Obviously, we had a couple of guys had some bad luck. Dakuza we saw down in 18th place. Car of interest, car number 68, which is the old Jaguar. So really interesting to see that one. I mean, just to see that on track, it's quite good. Oh, looks like we do have somebody who is ready for our interview. And it is Concoli. So we might be able to find out what happened towards the end of that race. I shall drag him in right now. Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Hello. Bit of a misfortune towards the end of the race there. What happened with it all?
Yeah, it was going pretty well, but I got disconnected for some reason. I don't know, maybe my internet.
Oh, it was actually disconnection at the end. I say we saw
Yeah.
there was a 5-second penalty, and then I got very confused because you suddenly sort of dropped right off the grid and couldn't really see you. And it said that you didn't reach the checker on the in-game timing board. But yeah, the disconnect does explain it. Yeah, ACC does seem to have a little bit of a history of randomly disconnecting people. It is a bit of a shame. But
Yeah, I haven't
apart
played
from that,
before, so...
I mean, apart from
annoying.
that, how did? Yeah, it is annoying. It is very annoying. Sadly, it seems to plague everybody at some point. Before your disconnect, though, how did you feel the race went? Because you were right up there at the sharp end of the grid.
Yeah, at the start I was not feeling good. My setup was not the best, so I was making quite a few mistakes. But after I started to pick it back up after the pit stop with low fuel, the car was pretty good, but could have been better before the disconnect.
I say, I mean, your qualifying was absolutely fantastic. Fourth place, and obviously you were leading AM driver at that point. What was different about your setup when it came to the actual race that made it not feel quite as well planted then?
Yeah, I'm pretty new to the Audi, and I was trying something new with the bump stop, but it really didn't work. In the high-speed corners, it was incredibly oversteery on the fresh tires, I feel.
Okay, so yeah, I did see. I think it was an incident with at turn one. I saw you turn the car in, and then suddenly big step out, and you ended up using all of the runoff area. Thank God for F1 giving
Yeah,
Silverstone such giant runoff areas, because it could have been a messy one if there was a barrier there. But yeah, I mean the Audi is a bit of a strange beast. How did you get on with the traction control? Because quite a few people have said how much the traction control sort of fights you and kicks in. Is that something you had issues with when doing your setup?
I kept it on free. I couldn't really go any lower because I would get a ton of wheel spin. So yeah, it's pretty aggressive, but I had to deal with it. I got pretty good exits, so
Yeah, I
I
mean,
guess.
I say watching you have your battles and everything. I said you were really closing in on. I'm trying to think who was in front of you for a moment. That was
Mixage.
yes, it was. Yeah, so you were really closing up on him for quite a long time and kept sort of chopping backwards and forwards between your battle and someone else's, but just looked like just weren't quite able to do it. And obviously then with the disconnect at the end, that's I'm sorry that your season opener has ended that way.
Yeah, I nearly broke something around me.
I'm not surprised if a couple of keys from the keyboard went flying at that point. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we've all been there with the disconnect. It's no fun. It's very disappointing. And obviously for yourself, you were still right up there at the front of the grid, even with your 5-second penalty. So yeah, real shame to see you drop back. But it doesn't appear that you came last, because some other cars I think have dropped off at different points. But have to
Yeah.
wait till afterwards to see the official results. But a great effort nonetheless.
Yeah, hopefully better next race.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Are you looking forward to Snetterton, or is it a circuit you're not that familiar with?
I've never driven it before, so we'll see.
Okay. Oof, you're in for a surprise. It's quite a lot of people don't like Snetterton.
Yeah, I know it's difficult.
Yeah, I think a lot of people struggle with the penultimate and final turn. Obviously, that long right-hander, then followed by a pretty much 90-degree left-hander. So I think it catches a lot of people off guard. But no doubt, if anyone can do it, it'll be you guys. As they will be very, very clean racing this evening. It's been great to watch.
Green light, green
Yeah,
light.
very
Go,
good
go, go.
racing on here. I always really enjoy it. Of course, when I don't mess up.
Yeah, well, it happens from time to time, and like you said, to be honest, the disconnect is completely out of your control, isn't it? It's not something you can even anticipate or plan for. To be brutally honest, you just no one wants it,
Yeah,
no one expects it.
nothing I could do. Could have
But
waited
yeah,
a few minutes.
well, hopefully next week it goes better, and
Yeah,
all the best of luck with your setup and practice for next week. And
thank you.
yeah, thank you for joining us in the commentary booth.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Bye.
Cheers. Right, it doesn't look like anyone else is going to be joining us. We can hang on a few more minutes and see, but it looks like no one else has decided to join us in the commentary booth. Big thank you to Concoli for jumping in. Obviously, as it turns out, it was a disconnect is why he never made it to the line. So, yeah, real shame that late in the race as well. No chance of rejoining and continuing on. Yeah, real shame for him. So his season will start next week at Snetterton, and it's a track he's never raced before, so it's going to be a difficult one for him. But I think that is probably us done for the evening here on the stream. Again, thank you ever so much for joining us. Apologies about all the issues we had this evening. I will be taking my computer outside for a severe beating later, and also seeing if I can work out why on earth it suddenly decided it want to crash on me so hard. But yeah, thank you ever so much for sticking with us, and see us here again next week, same time, same place, ISDA for some very, very clean racing at Snetterton. Thank you.